Hey guys, and welcome back. This is ChosenArchitect, and today we have an epic time lapse to start off today's video, and we're also going to jump into refined storage, and I hope you guys are ready. So first of all, let's jump into today's episode, and like I promised, there is going to be a lovely time lapse, and we're going to be taking our home here, and we're kind of going to expand on our area. Now behind me is where all the fun happened, and I kind of don't want to sneak a little peek over there, but you guys are just going to have to wait for the time lapse, I guess. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the time lapse. So this is one of several builds that we are probably going to be building throughout this series. And the reason I want to build these structures and have multiples of them is because there's several different tasks and several mods we're going to have to get into to even think about nearing what I would consider in-game in this pack. So in that regards, this is a multi-purpose building. You know, most of it is, not going to be used for anything like the upper parts of this, but these farms are definitely going to be something that is going to be automated. And then down here, we have room for fairly large machines and or machine setups. And one of those things that I want to set up is a refined storage system. I think upgrading today to refined storage is going to make my life a lot easier. Overall, it's going to be a good deal. So I hope you guys enjoyed that time lapse. If you did, let me know what was your favorite part down in the comments below. Or let me know what your favorite part of this pack has been so far, especially if you're playing it. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about refined storage and take a look at it. So refined storage. We have a couple of options. We have refined storage, we have AE2, and then we also have the storage that I'm using right now, which is going to be RF tools. Refined storage is going to be one of the easier ones to get into. At least I believe so. Like the controllers and things like that, and also making the processors. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple, right? It's just going to require some slime, and that's it. Like, there's no soldering, there's nothing that you have to do. You don't have to put it in an inscriber. Making processors are pretty straightforward, and you should be able to make several of them fairly quickly. So in our case, let's go ahead and make some of this binder. We are going to need some slime, and luckily for us, we can always use pink slime if we want. If we run out of any other slime, pink slime should work, but we also should have other types of slime as well. So for this, we need some string and some pink slime. So I'm going to make a few of these, because we're definitely going to need them. And we're going to go ahead and just start working on our processors. We're going to need like a stack of basic processors. Say a stack of, I don't know, I guess for the amount of gold. Let's take a look at our ore, by the way. We should have gold ore laying around. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that just in here to go ahead and get that processed. Make sure we have it in furnace mode. We do. So all of this is going to be moved over into that other building, into our new build. So that's at least the goal. I want to get this storage system transferred over there. And there's going to be a couple of tricks that we're going to use to do that. Also, the diamonds, we should have plenty of diamonds. There we go. And I think that's about it when it comes to this. I know that later on we're going to definitely need to make more of certain different materials. It all depends on what we're going to be working towards. These all require basic processors. So making the destruction core and the construction core, all of those are going to require your basic processors. So we might even go ahead and just make 2 sets of those. And all we gotta do now is smelt those. So let's pop down here. Of course, while our gold is being processed, actually we can go ahead and make the rest of our gold ones. There we go, 64. All right, so we have all those. I'm just gonna throw them in here, and they're gonna get processed up like as soon as now. And we can kind of arrange these so that way we make sure they get pulled in next. So there we go. All of our processors, they have to get worked on. While we wait on that, though, we can start looking at our quartz here. We're going to start making some of this quartz-enriched iron, which is going to be lovely. We're going to need quite a bit of this as well. So that's where all that iron, we have so much iron, so much quartz. It's going to definitely help out. Now, for making this, all of our casings are going to require that. We're going to need several casings, at least getting started. Basically all we're doing now is we're just going to be waiting on our processor. So I'll be back once we get some of those done. So basically all the machines that we're going to need to make for refined storage is going to be pretty simple. Like I said, this whole mod here is actually fairly simple and is a very powerful mod at that. So let's go ahead and make the base of what we're going to need. We're just going to go ahead and build everything on top of this controller, which is one of the first things you're going to need to make. So the controller is literally going to power everything. So think of this as the central part of what runs everything in refined storage. And on top of that, or once it's powered, it's going to end up looking like this. But this is the block that will need to be powered. So make sure that you have some way of powering it. But then everything else can run off of that. So the way this whole mod works is the blocks, as long as they are connected to one another via a cable or via connected to each other, will all be powered through one another and will also be connected. There's no like channels or anything like Applied Energistics has. So this is like Applied Energistics 1. It's kind of what it's built around. So we're going to need a couple cables. This is just going to make things look a little bit nicer. So after that, we're going to need to get ourselves a grid or a screen, something that we're going to be able to read off of. For that, I'm going to go ahead and make some construction cores, and we're also going to need destruction cores. So to make a few of those, and then we're going to go ahead and craft ourselves a grid, which is just going to require glass. I'm going to go ahead and make 3 grids for right now, because I think there's 3 different grids we're going to have to make overall. I'm going to convert this into a crafting grid. It's going to need a crafting table in order to do that. And also basically a diamond. That's all the advanced processor is. Basically think of that as a diamond. So here we go. We have our crafting grid, which is similar to this setup right here, right? You're going to have a crafting table and you're going to have a place to see all your items. And then we're also going to need a pattern grid. That is going to be something we're going to want. That's going to require us to make a pattern. And make a pattern grid. This is going to be something that we're going to use for automation purposes later on down the road. And we could make a fluid grid, and a crafting monitor is also something good to have. That lets you see your crafting processes. So maybe let's go ahead and go for a fluid grid. We'll make a fluid grid. There's another screen. And then we can go ahead and make a crafting monitor. It's just going to require some patterns. This one surprisingly doesn't require a screen. There we go. And there's our crafting monitor. So all of these things can be set up around a cable, which is what we're going to want. I also need somewhere to store our memory, or what's going to hold our items, which are these storage disks. And within this mod, if it says 64K, that means it'll hold 64,000 individual items. Same with this. This will hold 1K, 1,000 individual items. Whereas other mods, like this one says it'll hold 300, but it means 300 stacks of items per card within RF Tools. So let's go ahead and get somewhere where we can store these disks. And that's going to be a disk drive. Also another very simple thing to make. We're probably going to need more than one of these. So I'm going to go ahead. I really want to make 4 of them for right now. That's just going to make everything look nice and symmetrical when we go to start working on this. So there we go. There's 4 of them. And then we also need to jump in and start making our disk drives. It would probably be best if we had a 64K drive, wouldn't it? That would be wonderful. But it is a pretty much a rabbit hole in order to get to that point. So you have your 1Ks. So think of it that way. Then you have your 4K, 16K, up to the 64K. To get these, it tiers up. So you can see we're going to need 3 16Ks. To make a 16K, it requires 4 or 3 1K or 4. To make a 16K requires 3 4Ks. Here I am confusing myself. But we should be able to get this pretty easy. So 1, 2, 3. And we're out of glass. So actually our glass should be pretty easy to convert over here. We'll just change this right there. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and get some of the sand smelted up. I forgot how much sand we're actually going to need for this. Actually quite impressive, to be honest. So yeah, you're going to need a lot of this. So we're going to have to continuously make these parts. So if we have that being tiered up, so right now I have, or I'm about to have enough for this. That's going to be 7. We're going to need 9. So 8, 9, right? This is actually only enough to get us to that 16K, I believe. Because the 4, that's just going to get us 1 16K monitor right here. 1 16K part. So we pretty much need to do this 2 more times in order to get up to a 64K. Once we have a 64K, I think I'll be pretty happy. We're probably going to need to make probably 2 of them. And we have a lot of things. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. But this is pretty much all of these have hold 300 stacks of items. And they're all full. So, and that's not even counting our other inventories that we have hooked up to this. So it's kind of ridiculous the amount of storage we actually need. So let's go ahead and get this all set up. I have pretty much everything I need right in here. as you can see, I have the 64Ks. I went ahead and made 2 of them. It does take 27. So if you just make 27 1K storage parts, that's all you're going to need to progress up to that 64K, just in case you wanted to know those numbers. But we need to actually make it into a disk. To do that, bam, we have 2 storage disks. Now, I remember I said these controllers are going to need power. So I want to place this right in the center of this room. I want this to be like the main feature of this room. And it'd probably be nice if I actually had the device out of my system in here. I was powering it. Powering my tool. Eventually we're going to get some wireless power as well. It's going to make life a little bit easier on us. But still, like, the main part of this pack is just progression. There's a lot of stuff to do, especially towards the late game. All of this stuff is going to help drive us to that point. Alright, so I should be able to break this. And if I look... Oh, I'm not even in the center. So there we go. I'll break that. Directly there, I'm going to place the power cube. What's going to power everything. Then we can go ahead and place this, which is going to light up now and be powered. And remember, I'm just going to hook up cables. We could hook this all directly to one another, but it's not necessary for my case to hook up too much. So the main grid that I'm going to be using is going to be our crafting grid. So I can place that crafting grid like right here. We'll be fine. We can put the pattern grid right here. On the other side, we can put a fluid grid. And then over here, we'll put a crafting monitor. How about that? Here's all of our monitors. Now, we can access these from the sides, so it's kind of, it works. And then right above it, I can start putting my disk drives. I'm just going to place them right here for right now. And this is just for looks, of course. Just to kind of get that symmetrical, but these will be functional later on. And we can go ahead and throw disk drives in. So like this one now has our disk drives. Actually, let's take that out. I want to put it in the one that has our crafting grid above it, just so we can visually tell where our crafting grid is. But right here. So we open this up. You can see there's no items in it. But I start throwing some items in. We're good to go. You can see there's 32 items out of a 1,200 or 128,000. Sorry if I can number today. Should all fit in there. And you can see it's just going to fit in here nicely. And this is going to be a much better way to craft than using the storage tablet, which doesn't always like or dictionary items. So I want to go ahead and transfer all of the contents, at least from our RF Tools storage chests, over to here. Now I don't have to do that. I could break them and just carry them and hook them up to what is called a external storage, and that would allow me to read that external storage and thus be able to see the items in there. But I want to try and move, for the most part, most of my items into the system. And that's just going to make it easier for me in the long run. So let's go ahead and make a couple cables. And I'm going to use an importer. So within this mod, if you want to get something into your system, you're going to have to import the item into your system. If you want something out of your system to go somewhere, you have to use an exporter. So just so you guys understand how that process works. So I'm going to get a couple of these. It's just going to make it a little bit faster. Now, to make these faster and make these worthwhile, I don't think they require a specific inventory. I think they'll just pull items out regardless. We do need to give it some speed upgrades, because that would be the best thing to do, right? Stack upgrades would probably be even better to do. So let's go ahead and start making some speed upgrades. So base upgrades. I think, what was the stack upgrade? Where was it at? The stack upgrade requires 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 of the speed upgrades, and of course those are going to require your base upgrade parts. So there's 4. And this will probably be fast enough for just one importer in our case. And then we can go ahead and upgrade that to a speed upgrade. And then that gets upgraded to a stack upgrade. So this is a really fast upgrade right here. And let's just go ahead and test this out. So we should be able to take these and move them around. So these guys hold a lot of items, so we'll have to keep that in mind as we're doing this. But what I should be able to do is place one of these down. And it doesn't really matter just as long as this is connected. this should now be pulling items out of here. Slowly but surely, we should see items going in, and you do see them going in, but they're going in really slow. So I'll speed that up. And now you're going to start seeing tons of items flowing in. And that's exactly what I want to see. I want to see this whole thing being dumped. Of course, it's going to have to dump 300 items. So I'll be back after it does that. Of course, we are going to watch this go up, and I'm going to have to monitor it just to make sure that we do have enough storage. I'm thinking that this is going to be enough storage. That's the crazy thing with refined storage is it holds a lot of items for the cost of creating the storage. Definitely is pretty cheap. So I'm going to go ahead and let this do its thing, and I'll be back. So we're going to be doing a lot with refined storage today that may go over some people's heads because it's an easy mod, but there's some aspects to it that are a little bit more complicated. So first of all, let's go ahead and talk about the wireless grids that we have here. So I'm going to need a wireless transmitter. That's pretty straightforward, pretty easy to understand. And I'm going to have to do that over here because I think all of my stuff is now transferred over here and should be ready to go. So it's going to be a little weird for me to get back in the back in the groove of using this, but we should be able to pull this out. So there we go. There's the wireless transmitter. That's good and all, right? And then we also need to craft ourselves the grid. Now this is from Refined Storage add-ons. It's not necessarily from Refined Storage, so that's something to keep in mind, to think about. There we go. This one I have to pull out of the grid. I've been so used to just clicking the button to have it pop out. And then we also need a regular like crafting table. If I can get a crafting table to pop up, what is going on? Crafting table. There we go. Like any crafting table will work. Oh man, there we go. So here's our crafting grid, and then we're going to turn that into a wireless, which we're going to need, I guess, some more quartz. There we go. And wireless crafting grid. This thing is going to need power, but we also, I think there's upgrades as well, like range upgrades. So here we go. Here's where we have to get into some more upgrades. And I don't know the max number of range upgrades. I'm going to say it's 4. That's what I'm going to think it is. So let me think that it's 4. And all we got to do is place a transmitter somewhere. And I think these will just rest on the side of the cable. I don't remember if it has to be directly on a cable. It might actually have to be directly on a cable. So if we pull out a cable, we can place that here for now. And right on top of that, we're going to place this. And this right here, yeah, it's 4 upgrades. So when we put that there, we have a 48 block range, and we got to right click the controller, or shift right click the controller to our grid, and you see it's actually linked. And that is all fine and dandy, but we have to come over here and we have to give this thing some power. So I said eventually we're going to have some wireless power going. You could also, I guess you could power it right there. I totally forgot that inside here there's a power slot. So you could just power your stuff there. But we need to make sure we're within range, and that's where we're going to add something else over here. And we're going to use it for multiple different functions, but this should work. So down here, we're going to go ahead and remove this. I should have a spot for cable down there, so let's go ahead and craft something. We are going to try our best to make a network transmitter. So here's a network transmitter. Should require a machine case. We're going to need 2 of these. So we have a network transmitter, and then we also need a network receiver. So here's 2 of those things. This is how we're going to do wireless like transmissions between location to location. And I think, yeah, we need a network card, I believe. This right here is how we're going to link them. Let's just make sure. I think that should be the way it is. And then also we're probably going to need ourselves another wireless transmitter. I know. But we're going to set this up so that way we have access to all these things. This is how you extend your range even further. Of course, we are going to need some more range upgrades. So, I'm going to make a few more of those. Are we out of ender pearls? We're out of ender pearls. Okay, so 1 is going to work fine for right now. The main goal, though, for me is to have ourselves an external storage set up on this. Or not external, yeah, external storage. That's what I want hooked up to this network transmitter. It's going to make our life a little bit easier. So on the network transmitter, that's what needs to be set here. And I should be able to take this network card and shift right click on it. Maybe put it in here. Missing the network card. That's the security card. This is the network card. So maybe I just need to place that down because this... Oh, no, we have to right-click this, I believe, onto here. Yes, and then place it in. So wherever we put this receiver, we need to right-click on it. All right, let's go ahead and get that set up. That shouldn't take but a second. So as you can hear, I am downstairs underneath my mob farm. And this is kind of exactly where I want to be. This is where we're going to wirelessly hook things up. So down here is where I'm going to put my receiver. So let's go ahead and place that there. And then we're going to have some cable that's going to run up. And then we're going to connect ourselves a external storage right here. So it's going to read this drawer controller as an external storage. And then off to the side, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place my wireless transceiver here, or wireless transmitter, and then give myself some range. Now, this right here is where we're going to shift right click on this receiver. We should be able to head back to our other building, which is going to be Refined Storage Tower. I don't know, maybe you guys should let me know what we should call this. And then we're going to place this inside. And you see it's 85 blocks distance, but we should now have tons of ender pearls, tons of string. It's reading everything out of our mob farm. But I want to talk to you a little bit about the power. Here's where things get a little bit expensive. You can see right now, based on the amount of blocks that is being sent to, I think this can also go cross-dimensional. If I remember correctly, I think it does work cross-dimensionally, but it comes at a cost when it goes cross-dimensional. And it can get very expensive. I think when you go cross-dimensional, it immediately adds 1,000 RF a tick, just immediately. But you can see that all these is like really cheap, right? I mean, the wireless stuff is a little bit more expensive, so 16 RF a tick. But when we go down here to the network receiver, that's 1, but their other one, our receiver should not be 1. I don't think. It's probably saying, yeah, it's definitely not 1. Because right now we have 135. So it's right here. So 64 RF a tick is what this is being cost. And I think the further it goes, the more it's going to cost overall. But this down here is basically controlling all that. So what we should be able to do is now access our grid. We should be able to access even over here. Let's go ahead and make sure we're relinked. That should help extend our range. I think it might be just we're still not close enough to this. Yeah, because now we can access it. It's because we have to add some more range to this transmitter. But yeah, everything is hooked up. And like, this is how I would set this up. This is exactly how. So now all of these things are accessible, which is very, very handy. But like I said, we do need to go ahead and get her some upgrades. I guess we can do that while we're over here. Let's see. It was our range upgrades, correct? I believe it was range upgrades. And we just needed a few more things. This one. And we needed ender pearls. There we go. So there's our full range. That should extend our range over here, giving us 48 blocks now. And we should be able to access that from quite a distance away. And still should be able to access through our base. Yeah. Seems like it's working to me. Now over here it's not. But I mean, it's just right here on the border, man. It is so close. But like I said, most of our stuff is going to be getting moved anyways. We're not going to have this room full of our Ender IO machines anymore. A lot of things are going to get rearranged to make automation a bit easier. And with refined storage, automation is very simple. Now that this is touching the ground, we should be able to route cables underneath to be able to supply machines and things like that that might need, let's say they need certain items. We should be able to route those items using this system. And it's super simple. So I hope you guys enjoyed the time lapse today. I hope you guys enjoyed kind of understanding how refined storage works and why I decided to switch from RF tools to refined storage. I find that refined storage is just phenomenal. So anyways, guys, I really appreciate it. I will see you guys in the next episode. I hope you guys give this video a thumbs up and click that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already, so you can stay notified when I do publish awesome content just like the video you watched. So anyways, guys, I'll see you in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.